Good evening, viewers and listeners. Welcome to another edition of Serving the People. I'm your host, Mrs. Anissa Batiste. Please let us start with a word of prayer. Loving Father in heaven, I thank you for this opportunity to continually bring the issues of the people to the fore. Please bless me with your Holy Spirit and help me that I would speak the truth and the people would know the truth. In Jesus' holy name, amen. And now, let me remind you of how you may contact Serving the People. You may write to me at servingthepeople.ab@gmail.com, or you may call me at telephone number 1784-528-1015. The information is at the bottom of your screen, and I'll repeat it towards the end of the program for your assistance. In this evening's program, we want to look at the topic recent disaster issues. I wish to simply take the time to point out some of the issues coming out of the recent disaster which took place in the northern part of the island of St. Vincent. In the first portion, I want to talk about the fact that having visited the area, we noticed a couple of things. We made some observations. Well, one, for sure, there was ongoing cleanup taking place, cleanup work, and we observed that there was still a lot of debris, mud, and a lot of dust as well rising after the sun had come out and dried up a bit of the water. The place was noticeably dusty. There was also a particular terrible stench or odor that we noticed, and it was unbearable. And I know that residents in the area have expressed the difficulty and the concern with it. In fact, while speaking with one resident, the person was pointing out the fact that the river would have flowed in areas where persons had their latrines and sewers were affected and so on. So there's a lot of things inside of the muck and the mud that has settled around. Very unhealthy, and we hope that the relevant authorities would do their best soon, because it makes the atmosphere that is very unhealthy and difficult to breathe. The water challenge continues. I remember speaking with a few residents in the inner parts in Chapman's, and there was some difficulty still getting water for some persons. And persons have also expressed complaints about political discrimination in the administering of assistance. I am noting these things, and I want to make a few recommendations and to emphasize particular recommendations that have been made by other authorities. For example, when it comes to the water issue, persons are reminded that they should boil whatever water they get for children. For drinking purposes, the water should be boiled, and I can't emphasize enough how important this is. Parents, don't take it for granted. We have children already complaining for tummy ache and diarrhea. You need to boil the water before you give it to the children to drink. Please boil the water. Take the time and boil the water before they drink it. Also, NEMO, the National Emergency Management Operations, they've recommended that wherever assistance is being given to shelters, it should be given through their organization. In other words, if there are groups and organizations who want to take assistance to the shelters, you're kindly advised to contact NEMO to inform them. And the main concern here, I am told, is to avoid, as much as is possible, any duplication of efforts. In other words, they don't want you taking certain things that they have already ordered to be taken, where maybe it might be needed somewhere else, or some other item or some other items could be emphasized on if others have already been given. So please try your best to cooperate with the relevant authorities where necessary and possible. I also want to say that NEMO has advised, it's been on the radio and I want to repeat it here, that they would have a field officer stationed at the Georgetown Town Board office. That's at the Georgetown Town Board office. The NEMO would have a field officer stationed there so that persons may go directly to this individual and seek assistance. Please cooperate as much as you can and do your very best to help one another. I know that other organizations have been taking assistance. I know that the New Democratic Party has been in the area and we have other assistance to take in the form of clothing and so on. This program has also been given certain items to be taken to persons who need help, and we will do so in due time as we get the material together. Now, at this time, I want to go to another issue, and this is an issue coming out of the disaster as well, and it has to do with the Bigger Bigs operation. Following statements that were made by the Honorable Julian Francis recently on radio, Serving the People decided to go up to Bigger Bigs property and operations in Rabaka to do some investigation, because we heard the Honorable Minister claiming that Mr. Samuel of Bigger Bigs was in breach of the order by continuing to mine, and he indicated that he was mining within a hair's breadth of the riverbank. And we were very surprised because we had been there in recent times and we were concerned about the truthfulness of that report. So we decided to go up and we visited Mr. Samuel's property on Thursday the 20th, just about 2 days after the minister himself said he visited, and we did a brief interview with Mr. Bigger Bigs. We also took a look at some of the damage done in the Lady Jane River in terms of huge logs and so on that were brought down by the waters as the floods came down after the rains. So please take a look at this video and hear Mr. Bigger Bigs himself, hear what he has to say in context to what the minister had said previously. Take a look.
I'm here in Rabaka with Mr. Leon Samuel of Bigger Bigs. During this last week, Mr. Samuel, your name has come up and your operations while we have just faced a disaster of flooding in the whole area of Georgetown and other surrounding areas. While the plight of persons have been raised and the way in which people were affected, suddenly the issue of Bigger Bigs operations has come to the fore. And I want to hear from you what is really going on. What I have heard myself is that the Honorable Minister, Julian Francis, said that he was here on your property on Tuesday of this week and that he saw you in breach of the order to stop mining. He saw you mining in what he described to be a hair's breadth from the river bank. I am here and I want you to explain to me, because from what I am seeing, there seems to be serious contradiction in that report. What exactly were you doing where he claims you were mining?
Well, Anicia, the order said like this: I must do what you call a 2H slope, which is now, the bank is like this, level like that, but when I finish it should be sloping like that. So that is exactly what we were doing over there.
So even apart from stopping you from mining, it gave you certain instructions with respect to how you must leave the place?
That I must carry on sorting, so that means I must carry on sorting work on the site to bring it the way that the line out in the report, Anicia.
And that is what you were doing?
That is what we were doing, some over 200 feet away.
Hold on. What I'm seeing over there, that pile of
material there, that is what...
That is where your vehicle was operating?
Heavy equipment, yeah.
And what was it doing?
It was carrying out the order.
Yes.
As it is lined out.
Yes.
In the order.
Okay.
And as I said before, to give it a 2H slope. So if you notice, we begin this slope from way out yonder, and we're walking our way right away wrong, and it will take us back up to that point up there.
Okay.
So that means we have a long time here still cutting that slope, and he said that 2H slope.
But the first thing is, he called it mining. He said what you were doing there was mining. But I'm looking at nearby areas here where you actually mined before you were stopped. And I'm seeing a difference in the look of the place.
Yeah. Well, let me explain that to you, Anicia.
Yes.
When we were mining, we never used to leave the equipment on top of the bank.
Okay.
We used to bring the equipment down inside this level part, as if you down inside there.
All right.
And we used to be like excavating that whole bank, that face of the bank all the way down. So, but since they stop us from mining, we have not come back down inside that with our equipment. We stayed at the bank because the reason is that when you stay in the bank, you have a better way to cut and pull to get that slope that they ask us to cut.
With my layman understanding of this situation, would you agree with me that if what you were actually doing there was considered mining or was in fact mining, it would look something like this area here that you had mined before they stopped you?
And we cannot get that requires slope that they ask for by coming down inside and try to pull down, because it'll be, you better you go on the bank and you cut and you rip back up because we do not want to bring our equipment down back inside here anymore. And to be amazed, since we have been given the order to stop mine,
Yes.
the planning department have somebody come here every single week. Religiously, and this is not from the time the order has been given to us. Somebody, some representative, whether it's the town planner or his nominees, but somebody from the planning department come here every week to see what we are doing.
And has any one of them ever said to you, Mr. Samuel, you're still mining, you're not supposed
No,
to mine?
no, because they are the one who are the trained technician. They know what they are seeing when they come here.
But is that something they would have normally done? For example, if they had come here and met you in breach, would they have said something to you? Or if they came here and they saw something going on that should not be happening, would they have said something to you?
Well, we have never really done anything up here to really show it. But if I could actually that, long as you were in breach of that order, they would have pointed out. They would have pointed out to us.
Now the next thing is, the minister said
Yes.
that you were. He said he was here Tuesday, and
That's a fact.
saw
He
you
was
mining within a hair's breadth of the riverbank.
okay.
No, that is where your equipment
Yes,
was.
that just in that pile of material over there.
Right.
They when we rip backward and to get the slope, that material is piled up over there, and that is the distance.
Right, because I want the camera to show where that is up to where we are here,
and
standing at the riverbank.
And the riverbank.
And I want you to tell me how far away is that?
Well,
because he said hair's breadth, and my understanding of a hair's breadth is like you're right by the riverbank.
And he said, to be honest with you, if you to pull one of these, a tape from here to where we were, it would not be nothing less than, it will be well over 200 feet, but not under 200 feet. Wow. Of my years of experience of doing measurements and so.
200 feet is a hair's breadth.
and here's the river.
Here's the river.
We're standing on the riverbank. And remember, the minister said that if he stand up on the riverbank, it will collapse under him. It's three of us. It's three of us standing right here at the moment. I and you and the cameraman is standing right here, and he's looking down into the river and seeing the activity of the river.
This is, to put it nicely, clear misrepresentation of the facts, and one only has to come here to see for themselves.
And that's the reason why, and I'm so grateful for you to come here, just to highlight to the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines, when the minister said what he said that night, and a hair's breadth away, that you came and you saw it for yourself, and you are now standing,
right here
on the bank of the riverbank.
Yes, yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that is the distance we were doing over there. And
what you were doing is not mining.
It's not mining. We are carrying out the instruction of the order. And what must I do it with Mr. Minister? Must I come here with wheelbarrow and shovel to do that kind of landscaping that they ask for? I can't do it with wheelbarrow and shovel, Anicia. I have to use heavy equipment.
Why all of a sudden have you become the issue? They want to try to say that, oh, what happened with the floods, this is the kind of thing we were trying to avoid by stopping Bigger Bigs. What is that about?
And if you have the evidence are here, and no matter what the minister or anybody who are talking on behalf of the minister say or do, they cannot erase what has happened. The storm has already came and demonstrate show the whole general public in St. Vincent and Grenadines that what Bigger Trucking was doing at Rabaka would not affect and have not affect the river, both Lady Jane, because we are standing at the river and the bank of the Rabaka River now, so we could see the Rabaka River or the Lady Jane River. Our operation have no at all have any effect at all on what took place when the storm came. And this is what I really, really want people to come and see. To help me to change the concept that was laid out there against us. And you know what is amazing to Anicia? I have a representative who is where I'm living, who is Miss Gordon Miguel.
Yes.
You know, since this happened, Miss Gordon Miguel never yet a day called me to even empathize with me. In nowhere at all. And this is a lady in Anicia that I used to wake up off of my bed all in the morning because we can't be hard in life. Milk cattle. I am a little boy, 9, 10 years old. Get up off of my bed between 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning. Go to the mountain, milk from the cattle. Bring them down, battle them back out and give milk. Carry milk, give Miss Miguel. while she in her bed still sleeping. If you think I'm lying, ask Miss Eileen Bailey. Miss Eileen Bailey, who is Adrian Bailey mommy, used to be getting milk from me. I used to almost give the whole of Marquardt milk on mornings. The people who own the People's Pharmacy, I used to carry milk for those poors. And sometimes when the rain is so heavy on my head, I outside calling, Miss De Silva or Miss Miguel, I bring the milk. Sometimes it took them a very long time.
And now was there a representative?
And now they changed my representative. Know where my family came from. Even though I might have a brother who works for the IMF, my sister who might work for airline. Because we are ambitious set of people, we brought ourselves up in life.
And she never even came as a constituent to seek to at least investigate, to hear from your side.
No, Anisha.
What is the matter? I understand.
And I want people to know that I didn't come up the easy way. And when you hear school over again at 3 o'clock in the evening, my father will be there waiting and for me. Tell me here 3:15 because I was walking distance away from school. I must reach home to go and give 16 kettle water. I carry water on my head. A bucket on my head, one in my hand, and climbing up some big steep hill to carry water. People, Miss Miguel know where I came from, to know how I work hard to reach where I am. And Miss Miguel will sit down there and see that these people treating me like this and do what, and don't even say anything at all in this.
I feel it. You know, one of the things I would like us to show as well.
And now I'm here carrying out the instruction of the order. Carrying out the instruction of the order. The minister came up here, and the minister met me down the road, you know. He saw me, I called out to him. I believe it's just after that when I spoke to him, when I called him, he reached up here. If he was coming to visit Anisha, and he meant anything good, then I think he could have called me and said, Bigger, I'm going to your property, let us go.
And if if after he claims he saw what he said he saw,
he came back down and
say to you.
But he came back down and met me down there.
And said nothing to you.
And said nothing to me.
And then go on the radio and
the minister could have called me and said, Bigger, I see that money going on up there. And I would explain to him what I was doing, but to go on the air to give people the impression that I am above the law, breaking the law.
Said that?
You see, I mean, that is what he basically said. I'm breaking the law. And put that out to the general public, and hear what one lady said, because what he said had far-reaching. The next day, a lady called in and said, I could make the tape available to you. That Bigger Bigs want to mash up the bridge. Because Bigger Bigs do not concern about it. Like, the lady said it, I have the tape. Frank, send the tape, I could make it available to you, Anisha.
Before the light is out, I want us to go over to the area of the Lady Jane River.
Yes.
And to see what happened there in terms of what would have affected the bridge.
Yes, Anisha.
I want us to see that before we go. Because we want to prove again that it is not the operation of Bigger Bigs.
No.
It's not the operation of Bigger Bigs.
Right. So as we have seen this river here,
yes,
and to see exactly that the river is still, and look at the depth.
Yes.
And he said we're looking down into the river.
This is the Rabaka River.
And we are standing at least 60 to 80 feet above the riverbed and the Rabaka side of the river. It's over 60 to 80 feet, and I want people to remember to hear what I said. And and what you call the northern part of the river, we are standing at least about a 60 feet or 80 feet drop down to the riverbed. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, Anisha, you see what happened, right? When the order was given to me to stop mining, the whole entire face of our mine was like this.
Okay.
But they said I cannot leave the compound and leave it just like this. I have to cut a 2/8 slope. So as you can see, this is the 2/8 slope here.
Yes.
So when it finish,
the
whole entire area will take this format here, because they said that they shutting me down. I am no longer being here, but I cannot leave it with any embankment like that, which is reasonable, because if somebody running and they don't know, they could fall over and maybe hurt themselves. You know what I mean? So they wanted to have this slope all the way around.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is what I was doing when Minister Francis came here and said I was mining. I was
using your equipment.
And I was using my equipment to carry out the order, what was stated in the order. And as you could see, I cannot do this with wheelbarrow and shovel. It's as simple as that. Okay?
I understand.
And
I'm standing in the Lady Jane River. And as you can see around me, there are huge logs. Even this very one I'm standing on. all these were brought down by the river when the rains came down and the floods came. Look at all the logs that are in the Lady Jane River. Now, Bigger Bigs, the last time I was here, the last 2 times I was here, this place is not like this. And what I'm appreciating here is that in order for this kind of material to come down the river, it had to have been because the area of the river was made free to allow that kind of stuff to come down. And that has to be connected to the mining that is taking place in the river. And I want to make it clear that it is not Bigger Bigs operation that is doing mining in the Lady Jane River. It is the government statutory body, BRAXA, better known as GESCO, that is mining in the Lady Jane River. And we showed that the last time we were here.
Yes, and if you go back to previous footage, I'm sure we can find the footage to show the people, our viewers, how the river was cleared all the way right, go beyond me, beyond our walking place up high upstream. So what happened, Anicia, when the river came down now, it didn't meet no obstacle at all in its way. So all it did is keep pushing all of these debris down the road. And this is why the road that the people used to use to go to the Bower Mountain, which they are fighting me for now, the original road was mashed up because of the mining. Because what happened, Anicia, the physics in this is that you remove all the material downstream, and then it continues until it reaches way up in the mountain removing material, right? What's going to happen now is that when the river come down now, it doesn't have anything to stop it. So what's going to happen, the dirt road that the people used to drive across the river up at the top now will just wash away and come down, because what happened is that they clear the whole bottom section of the river and then everything will just wash out from the top and come straight down. Because there's no obstacle at all anymore again.
I understand.
So if you want to do some cleaning, but the extent to the cleaning that GESCO Nama do in this river here is just too much. So that is exactly what happened upstream. They remove all the material downstream and they make way for all that was up there to flush right down. It's like you have a toilet bowl home, Anicia, and they're trying to flush it. But because it has something, well, from the time you use a plunger and they plunge it, everything gone down. So then after that, everything's running through free.
So the plunger is like the mining.
The plunger is the mining.
And it clear everything.
Clear everything.
And it allow everything to pass now.
Pass now.
Water and everything.
Yeah. So what happened now? They could not have gone any further now because down here fill up.
And this would have affected the bridge.
Yeah, because the whole bridge was covered. And
but didn't they say before that your operations would affect the lady?
That's what they said. That's what they said. Look at that massive big stone over there. I don't know if the camera could get it. But that massive big stone, yeah, in the distance over there is what is. I who brought my excavator. It was right in the middle of the bridge mouth. We took it out with our excavator and put it over there. Because the Taiwan...
Let's walk down a little closer to it so we could see what you did.
Yes. In the Lady Jane River, Anicia. When I got up here the Tuesday afternoon around about 3 p.m., I could not have gotten any further than there. So I had to walk from there to go up in our lands up inside there.
Okay.
So I met the Taiwanese equipment clearing out a lot of these. There was much more debris than this, you know.
Okay.
A lot of it has been taken out and thrown over and gone over into the sea. So what happened, like they tried to get out to clear the mouth of the reinforced culvert or bridge, whatever they want to call it. But what had happened, this massive stone on the corner here.
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah, it was there. So they could not, so their equipment could not have moved it. So I took it up on my own and decided, because as you can see, it was undermining the foundation of the bridge over there.
Okay.
So I said, no, I cannot leave the water there to continue trying to erode the foundation of the bridge. So I took my equipment and I bust a trench from way up, over 300 feet up.
We can see
as you can see the stream, as you can see the trench.
Yes, you can see the trench.
Yeah, going all the way up, and I bust that trench and bring the water back in the middle to put it under the bridge. But then we know to ourselves that we must remove that big stone. We remove that big stone and cut out this whole area here to bring the water back under the bridge.
Okay.
And Anicia, I am amazed to see. And I think when this bridge was built, they underestimate the power of this river. Because as I believe, nobody have never seen this river came down this way. It came down so violent. And you see the kind of bridge that was built here, look at it.
The same bridge that they were concerned your operations would affect.
Would have affect. Yeah, and look at it, Anisia. Look at the height. And this is serious flaw in the engineering of this bridge here. This bridge here should have been much, much higher than this. And matter of fact, it should have been almost as high as the big one over there. Because as far as I see, this river here have the potential to do as much damage as what that one over there can do. Okay. It has, the storm has shown that to us now.
Understood.
And as you can see, look at the debris, and look at the amount of material here to prove. Look at that tree over there. That's all that was inside here, and he said that log is standing over there. That log is standing over there. That was over here too, and he said. And as I said to you, much more of it have been thrown into the sea, and the sea have taken it and gone. And this is the Lady Jane River, don't forget. This is the river of contention in our order, the Lady Jane River.
Very eye-opening indeed.
Can I get it trench up street where we let it cut? Can you get it?
Yes, did you hear those things, and did you see the imagery of what really is happening? Mr. Samuel advises that anybody who wants to come to see for themselves may do so by contacting him and come out there to Rabuka and see exactly what is going on. Bega, we truly empathize with you here at Serving the People. We know it must not be easy to have to hear these misrepresentations of your situation continually, but I want to remind you, keep your head up. The cost of liberty is indeed struggle and vigilance eternally, and we know from what we've seen that it was not your operations that caused the damage that took place in the Lady Jane River. We also saw the great distance that exists between where you were working, trying to bring your operations in compliance with the order that was given to you, as opposed to mining, as the minister claimed. So keep your chin up, head up, and keep strong. My dear people, we've come to the end of another program. I wish to remind you that if you want to contact us to help anybody, to give any assistance, or for any other purposes, to bring some issue that you're concerned about to the fore, write to me at servingthepeople.ab@gmail.com. Or if you wish to call, you may telephone me by dialing number 1784, if you're calling from abroad, 1784-528-1015. Please, I want to remind you finally, parents, boil the water before you give it to the children to drink. It is very important that you boil the water before the children drink it. We don't want any outbreak of disease or any problems where the children are getting sick because of not being careful to do this. So that's the last thing I want to leave with you. Boil the water in those areas. Whatever water you get, boil it for drinking purposes. Until our next program, may God help you all to bear what we are bearing, and may we all continue to help one another. In the interest of serving the people, this program will continue. Take care and thanks for viewing.